We are in Paris, one of the most beautiful cities in the planet. The city is so full of history, culture, interesting museums, interesting sites. But in today's video, we are not here for any of that. We are here to eat like there's no tomorrow. It's a beautiful morning here in Paris. We just got out of our hotel and we are now on our way to the Galeries Lafayette. Are you hungry?
Very hungry.
Let's go. Let's go. All of these desserts look so good. I wish I could have them all, but we have to make choices. We'll be eating a lot today, but for starters, we went to the Yann Couvreur pâtisserie. Yann Couvreur is a well-known chef here in Paris. He has his own pâtisserie in a few places, and the specialty of this place is actually the chouquettes. The chouquette is this pastry sprinkled with sugar on top. And Yann Couvreur is not only good for the chouquette, but also good for the croissant. We got a little croissant here and a little coffee to get started today. And look at how beautiful the branding of the cups are. With the Eiffel Tower and some of the Paris landmarks. They have a really nice branding. Okay, I can already see that there is a little filling here. I thought it was gonna be completely dry, but let's check. It smells like something really recognizable. Like something you would have like when you were a child or something, I don't know. Oh my god. In all honesty, I have never tasted vanilla this good before. Look at how creamy, and the dough is also very light. Since we have a lot to eat for the rest of the day, the plan was to have only one of these things. But it's so good that I think I'm just gonna have another one.
Can I have one first?
And I noticed that there is also a little bit of a vinegar aftertaste, but very light. I don't know if you can see it here, but the dough has many little layers. It's not just like a thick dough, it's a very layered light dough. And that makes the whole thing just perfect. Amazing. Sorry for the noise. And all of the pastries from this shop are made with artisanal and seasonal ingredients. So now let's see if this croissant is really good as they say. It's huge. Oh my god. It's so light and airy on the inside, and then it has this layer of sweetness on top, but again a very mild sweet flavor, and then on the inside it has like a kind of like a strong buttery flavor, very strong but really good buttery flavor. And you know a croissant is good when you can easily peel it off.
Usually I don't really get the big deal about croissants, especially when they're like a little dry inside. But this is the perfect combination of very crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside. Like after this, we don't need to eat croissants anywhere else.
Yeah.
Only in Paris.
It's gonna be really hard to eat croissants anywhere else in the world.
Like it's subtle, but still, yeah, just the right amount of everything. No like cheap, no cheap thrills. The coffee is also very good, by the way.
I feel like croissants are usually kind of heavy in other parts of the world, but this one was so light and so tasteful. It was by far the best croissant I've ever had in my life. So now we're going back to the Galeries Lafayette to get ourselves some more sweets before we eat the savories and before we explore a little bit more. So many different flavors. But the most popular one is actually the salted caramel one. We could also try something completely different. Or we could even try the mini versions with 4 different flavors. Since we have the whole day ahead of us, we are just gonna take one of them. This gourmet section of the Galeries Lafayette is also really good if you just wanna try different sort of pastries and treats, they have savory foods, they have lots of different types of food here. So it's kind of difficult to make decisions here, to be honest, because everything looks amazing. Oh, look at this. Croque Monsieur is also on our list. Oh, look, these ones have pieces of salmon, pieces of ham. Sorry for the noise, but we are in the middle of Paris. You gotta deal with it. So now we have the famous Croque Monsieur. It's usually a ham and cheese sandwich that tastes a little stronger than a normal ham and cheese sandwich because they prepare it with a bechamel sauce and a very generous portion of cheese. In this case, we decided to take a little bit of a different route and go with the salmon instead of the classic with ham. Okay, so for this one, we need a little fork and knife. Ooh, it smells amazing. So let's see what is inside. The inside of it looks very soft already. It's really good. Yeah, there is a very generous piece of salmon inside. It's very fluffy and the inside is very creamy as well. And look at how thick this layer of cheese is.
And the bechamel sauce is a major part of it. You taste that actually even more than the cheese, I would say.
Again, it's a very mild taste of everything together. That makes the whole thing very balanced. That's when you know a food is good, is when the tastes and all of your berry, they all kind of complement each other.
The salmon goes with it very well.
This type of sandwich originated in the Café of Paris as a sort of fast food. They actually have two versions. One of the versions is the Croque Monsieur, which is this one we're having now. And the other version is the Croque Madame, which is the one with the egg on top. If I would live in Paris, I would have some of these on a daily basis. When you think of pastries in Paris, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
Macarons.
The two most famous macaron shops in Paris are either the La Durée or the Pierre Hermé. But today we wanted to go with something a little different and we want to try the macaron for the Jean-Paul Hevin. Jean-Paul Hevin is a famous chocolatier here in Paris, so his main specialty is chocolates, but he also offers other different types of pastries and we wanted to try their macaron. I actually have another video here on my channel where I tried the macaron from Pierre Hermé. The Pierre Hermé is my favorite macaron shop in the whole of Paris, and I'm gonna leave the link of that video up here so you can check that out as well. But now let's see if this one is actually good. So you got here two different flavors. Tim got the Normandy, which is caramel and coffee biscuits, dark chocolate and salted butter caramel milk, and I got the yuzu, which is a yuzu ganache between two almond biscuits.
Chocolatey, nutty. It's much heavier than the ones we had yesterday.
I really like the combination of the citrus with the chocolate flavors together. The chocolate takes away the bitterness of the citrus. I personally prefer the one from Pierre Hermé, but this one is also, like, I would say 9 out of 10.
Yeah, if you're into chocolate, go here for sure.
Yes. Okay, so now we are gonna try the eclair from the Eclair de Génie. I've had the Eclair de Génie before in the past and I love it. Wow. Look at how beautiful. And this looks so rich. All the details. And the eclair is a classic French pastry that the Parisians love to eat since the 19th century. Over the years, the eclair kind of lost its sex appeal because of the introduction of new pastries, and the eclair was considered a little too heavy and doughy. But then it's said that the Eclair de Génie was actually responsible for modernizing the recipe, the traditional recipe of the eclair, and they made it more appealing for the 21st century. I love anything like citrusy, any sort of like citrus desserts. So we ended up ordering the yuzu flavor with a little meringue on top. They also have a little piece of white chocolate here. There are many different layers, and that makes a very soft and light dough as well. And then you have this delicious filling inside, very generous filling. You can also see these little pieces of the lemon everywhere. It's really good.
Oh, I can smell it from here. The lemon.
And the filling inside are not very sweet. They are sweet, but they are kind of like mild. But then the meringue brings the extra sweetness to it. So good. Tim is actually not a fan of eclairs, but let's see what he thinks of this one. Oh, but before.
Wait. Yeah, the reason I usually don't like it is if this is too dry and the filling is too much, too heavy. So let's see how this one is. The filling is really good. I love the lemon with the meringue, but I guess what I just don't care for like the thing around it, the dough. For me, it's a little too heavy.
But what about this one? Do you feel like
here at least it's not so overwhelming? But that's why even the best eclair will just never be my favorite. Just my opinion.
As you could see, the gourmet parts of the Galeries Lafayette is great if you want to try different types of pastries, macarons, and some savory dishes as well. But I think now we are gonna go for a different part of Paris so we can try something new. Look, that's what the Parisians like to do in the afternoon. When you think of food in Paris, you think of pastries. And when you think of pastries in Paris, you think of macaron. And when you think of macaron, you usually associate it with sweets. So savory macarons is never something that comes to mind. But actually savory macarons do exist. I've never had before, but I'm really curious and we are gonna try one right now. We are going to a place called Le Comptoir de la Terre. It's a sort of tapas bar, but it's French. Specialized in French food. Oh my god, they brought us this huge plate of butter. And the interesting part about this place is that, well, the menu is basically on the rooftop, so you can just choose whatever tapas you would like to have. We are definitely going for the macaron. The bread looks amazing. They brought us some artichoke, some pickles. But what about this artichoke? I'm curious about it. Can we just... or is it just decoration? Anyway, the artichokes are just decoration. Smells like earth. So we got here a croque de boeuf, which is the behind of the beef on a sort of like, on a sort of toast. Wow, so tender.
Extremely tender. It melts in your mouth.
A very herbal flavor. Yeah, it has a very strong herbal flavor. Some croquette from cod. I used to have a lot of cod croquette when I was a child because back in Brazil this is very normal. When we would have like parties and events, my mother would always make this cod croquettes at home. I love it.
I feel like this also could have been Brazilian.
Yeah, super creamy, light taste of cod. Not overbearing, as the Parisians like to do, as the French like to do. And we also got here some Chiopolatas. So yeah, it's a sausage with some pepper, garlic, herbs. Very strong flavor as well. And this is a good strong flavor, not a bad one. It's so delicious, like it's roasted and marinated on herbs, It's delicious.
The lofi is like deep, savory flavors after all this sweet.
So there it is, guys, the famous savory macaron. So the meats they have inside of the macaron is blood sausage. Are you excited to try the blood sausage?
I am actually. I've had it before many times. My mom used to make it.
It's a little curious to me, but you know, I'm a huge fan of macarons. So this is gonna be an experience. And does it compare to the sweet macarons, or is it very different?
Strangely, it does, because the consistency is a little bit the same of the cookie. But wow, ooh,
Wow.
it's really good. Wow, delicious. There's like some sweet sauce on it also.
Ooh, do you have any idea of what this topping is? Because there is a little like sprinkle of something here. Wow.
Nice, huh?
Whoa. The dough of the macaron is a little sweet. The sausage is very savory, and it has a very strong taste, a very strong dominant taste. But at the same time, it matches really well with the sweetness of the dough of the macaron because it complements each other. There's this little sauce inside that has a little bit of a spiciness to it. This was an experience. After all this savory meal, we go back to a little sweetness, to another typical Parisian pastry or typical French pastry, the mille-feuille. And as a dessert, we came here to the Victor and Hugo to try their mille-feuille. The mille-feuille is a pastry made with a vanilla custard, crunchy phyllo dough, and it's actually one of my favorites, so I assume that the ones here in Paris are some of the best. Let's see.
Very good. Strangely, it almost reminds me of white chocolate a little bit.
This dough actually reminds me of the dough of the croissant we had earlier today. Doesn't it?
I can see that.
Very layered, very fine, with this little sweetness to it. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel for more. I'll be traveling to other places around the world and also filming different types of food, and not just food but also other sides. And I see you guys on the next video next week. Bye!